monster. Coming like a Hellcat. Like a Hellcat.
Ciao ragazzi, and welcome to another edition of Serie Sitdown, World Football Index's podcast of Calcio told like it is. I'm Frank Crivello, and back with us, Richard Carmen. Ciao, Richard.
Ciao, Frank. How are we doing? You miss me?
Yes, I missed the salute. Alex and Jerry don't know how to do the salute. They don't know their Larry Zabisco.
Oh my goodness.
It's so frustrating. It's not even like Larry Zabisco was my favorite wrestler. I just enjoyed the, at the beginning of the WCW Nitros back in the days. So,
yeah.
David Gorascio in the house. Ciao, ciao.
Yeah.
Good to have you with us. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe, drop a like. Means a lot to us if you're watching us here on YouTube. If you're listening to us in podcast form, drop a like at the platform that you're listening to. Always means a lot to us. So how have things been? You feeling all right? You got the jaws moving now, and you're chatting away, right?
A little bit better. Yeah. It's been a slow. I thought I was going to heal in like a couple of days. And no, I just started feeling better yesterday. Really, that I can start talking more. But yeah, it's getting better and better every day. It just, my mouth gets really, really sore. I probably should take my meds before this podcast, but oh well, we'll live and learn, right?
Yep, for sure. Well, I'm taking my it's a Lakefront Premium Lager today is what we're going with. Just something a little bit lighter, just enough to keep the whistle wet. So
I gotta stay smart with this one. Alcohol doesn't mix with certain things.
I used to when I had my wisdom teeth pulled, I had the Vicodin, the stuff that Brett Favre was hooked on.
Oh, yeah.
And I had that with alcohol, and it was just like I wanted to. The Vicodin made me so damn wary, and then you're drinking, and you're like, you want to go to sleep, but you can't.
Yeah.
Oh man, those are some rough days. That's for sure. Yeah. So enough about that, and how about what is going on the pitch? We weren't going to talk about it, but I guess we might as well because it was a derby and it was in Coppa Italia. Milan and Inter took to the pitch in the quarterfinals, Richard. The lineups had some changes, not a lot. So it had, to me, when I looked at these lineups, I mean, the managers were probably semi-interested in winning this game. So.
And it's a derby after all, right?
And it's a derby, yeah. And did anyone catch the audio from Ibra and Lukaku? Ibra's going off on everybody, and I think that's the old man syndrome setting in. He went off on Zapata on Saturday too.
Yeah.
I have more goals than you have matches played, or something to that effect. But yeah, that's the only good thing about having no audio.
And they were speaking in English too, so I guess it helps the non-Italian speakers understand even better, especially with no fans there. You could understand most of what was going on outside of the announcers. So. Yeah,
that was some quality stuff. So, thoughts on the lineups, though? Some subtle changes here and there. Milan certainly tried to go. I think Milan tried to go as strong as they could. Calabria didn't start. Dallo did. Tonali didn't start. Maite did. Salamaker's returned to the lineup. And then Inter really, Hakimi didn't start, Bastogne didn't start, and Lautaro didn't start. So, Conte even was, making some changes without getting totally weak. So led me to
Kolarov,
believe
I don't know. Kolarov's there. That's pretty weak.
well, yeah, led me to believe that these managers were semi-interested in trying to win this game.
Yeah, it's a big derby game, and I mean it's a right to go to the Coppa Italia semifinals, and it does mean something to both these clubs. They do want to win a trophy. It's harder and harder these days with Juventus hogging all the trophies these days. But I thought it was a fairly strong lineup. I was happy to see Miete for Milan in particular. I think Michael Lisi put out a tweet about Milan's record with Salamakers in the lineup and how good they are with him in there, whether he's contributing or not. The team is very good when he's there, obviously with Ibrahimovic as well. And then you look at the inner side, Alexis Sanchez up top instead of Arturo, and any of those three guys up top, it's going to be a dangerous mix for them. So I thought that was a good, strong attacking duo for Inter. You had some, obviously the midfield was going to be strong with Brozovic, Barella, and Vidal. But having guys like Perisic, who's not having the greatest of years, Kolarov. I know a lot of Interisi, when the lineup was leaked, I guess a day before the game, they were worried because obviously some of those names that were struggling this season and teams players who've done really poor against Milan in the first derby this season. Kolarov in particular, as Martino Puccio says, he's been Milan's best player over the first two derbies. So yeah, I mean it's a fairly strong lineup for both teams, but there were some interesting subtle moves, like you say, and I think overall, I think both teams wanted this victory.
But Inter, in the first half certainly had the better run of play. I mean, at the beginning, Milan found a little bit of joy, but then as the game wore on, it was Inter that was certainly pressing and looking more dangerous. And then in the somewhat against the run of play, 31st minute, Zlatan Ibrahimovic finds a little bit of space. And, he also found Kolarov in front of him, and he said, okay, I'm going to shoot.
Why not? Yeah, I would have done the same thing.
Put Milan ahead by 1-0. Thoughts on the goal?
Yeah, brilliant goal by Ibrahimovic. I mean, obviously, as a defender, you'd want Kolarov to do a lot more than he did. Left his legs wide open for Zlatan. But Zlatan, pinpoint shot right into the corner. Had Handanovic frozen at his feet. Couldn't do anything about it. He's smart enough to hit it low and hard to the far post, and he got that post and it went in. So good goal by him, for him to hold it up and not just give away the ball or give it to somebody else. He saw who was in front of him, and he took advantage of it. And I think that's what you need to do when you see Kolarov or someone of his ilk in front of you. So good on him with the goal. And again, another big goal by Ibra in a big derby game. So not surprising. You knew the big names would come out in this one. And obviously one of the bigger ones showed up early with Milan.
Right. Milan also, this first half came at a cost for them. Simon Kjaer.
Yeah.
We learned how to actually pronounce that name now. And how he wants it pronounced. So Simon Kjaer got hurt. I think that this was the one frustration I had as a Milan supporter with this being a cup game. This is not a game that I wanted to see Kjaer start. I would have liked, start Kalulu, play Tomori from the start. And I get it, hindsight's 2020, but this was probably the one guy that Milan I don't think needed to start in this game. But interestingly enough, there was kind of a correlation for me from the beginning of the game where Milan were pressing and getting control. And then once Kjaer went out of the game and it was Tomori that had to come on, that changed. I think that Milan decided to cede possession just because, okay, we got a new center back here that we haven't played with.
Yeah.
And we're doing this in a derby. Let's just make sure that we're organized. Let's make sure that we have cover for Tomori. Let's make sure that we do that. And it seemed to be that was the way they were going to go, take their chances on the counter. And I think that was even more evident once Ibrahimovic gave them the lead.
Yeah, and to start the game, Inter did very well to really be on the onus of possession and really dictating the game. Milan started growing into it, got that goal like you mentioned, and then once that injury, obviously when the injury happened, they decided, hey, we gotta be smart about this. I thought Kalulu was gonna come in, and then when Tomori came in, I'm like, wait a minute, that's not Kalulu. Wait, okay, Tomori's in there. Hey, so yeah, I think your points are correct where they try to really help him out, be a little bit more sound defensively, try to hold that lead, because this is a team that certainly can hold that lead there. Romagnoli obviously has to have a bigger role in this now that Kjaer is not in there. So I wasn't too surprised by that. And obviously, as the game wore on, it started to be feeling more and more like a derby, right? And then Tepper's getting flared up in just before halftime there.
Yeah, the lovely civil conversation that went on between Romelu Lukaku and Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
Yeah, a lot of words were said between the two, and people are making some outlandish remarks about what was said and what was not. But I think the thing that set everyone can agree on that Lukaku has never been this incensed in a long time. People are like, "Oh my god, he was really pissed off. What did he say?" And I think the comment that triggered him was the comment that I heard that Zlatan said, or what's reported said that he said that what did he say? He said that hey, go ask your mom, even she'll tell you that you're shit too. And he's like, "Oh, you want to talk about mom?" Then you keep hearing him repeat, "You want to talk about mom? Let's talk about mom." And he made a comment about his Zlatan's wife, and it's a lot of things, a lot of stuff. There's some comments made about the Everton days and Chelsea thing, and so yeah, it's a lot of stuff was said between the two. They look like they wanted to go. You rarely see a guy stand up to Zlatan. Lukaku's a big enough guy who can do it, but they both. Zlatan was egging him on. He was certainly egging him on. Now they both were talking shit, and who knows if they fought in the hallway? Who knows? But it certainly got feisty. It looked like a derby.
Yes, we have become soft as a society, Stephen. It's cancel culture. It's all that crap that's going on out there. Yeah. It's, I love a good yo mama joke. So
it wasn't even, it was, so my biggest fear when I heard initially when the rumors first started saying before I heard the audio was that maybe it was a Materazzi incident, like with Zidane, and you don't want something like that. But sure. what he was, what I heard end up saying was that, that ask your mom about you, she'll say your shit too, which I was like, okay, well, that's kind of funny. It's, I wouldn't go to that level, but it's funny. Yep.
Uncle Sharma's in the house. Congratulations on the win in the contest to determine who the world's tallest midget is. Great job. I'm trying to
Calcio winner from last week, huh?
Right. He's I don't know if he has any entries. I haven't had a chance to take a deep dive into the who won.
Sounds like a personal problem, Uncle Sharma.
Yep, that's the problem. We always think the worst. That's absolutely true, Steve. Well, all of those antics earned Zlatan and Lukaku a yellow card for that argument. The referee was not impressed.
No.
And it would prove costly in the 58th minute. Zlatan gets a second yellow for a foul and gets sent off in this match.
Yeah, that was certainly a stupid play by him. First of all, if I were Brahim Diaz, I would have taken all the credit for that foul. If you're smart enough, you see, okay, he's already on a yellow. Why? I'm going to take the credit for that foul. Hopefully, he doesn't get that yellow and referee, falls for it. But no, it was Zlatan on Kolarov of all people at center pitch. Gets on his ankle, steps on him, unnecessary foul. This guy's slow as brick, and you're gonna tackle him for unnecessarily. That's stupid. It was a stupid yellow. And he really cost the game. It looked like he was getting under Lukaku's skin in that first half, and maybe Lukaku could get a red. But Zlatan does something stupid like that, and he cost us after he got the red card. Things really changed around, and it looked like it was almost inevitable that Inter was going to win the game because of that. You're down 10 men against a really good team. Not the smartest play by Zlatan, and I know he apologized afterward, but he's got to know better.
And to David's point, this game had everything. Even the referee got hurt.
Yeah, that's a true derby. The referee got hurt. I think he just wanted to get out of there, man. I don't know, because he smartly blew the whistle at the end of the first half, like right away, because he's like, we're getting out of here. And then the fourth official had to take over. But it was a good derby, I thought, overall. It just I agree with Stevie about the second yellow being a weak one, but it was a stupid foul nonetheless, and Ibra should have gotten that. I don't know. It's a derby. It's a derby. What do you want?
Yep. Penalty, 71st minute. The foul in the penalty area. It was a penalty. It was a.
So the funny thing is, and a lot of people are agreeing about this, that yes, when you watch the one replay, it looks stonewall penalty. Absolutely stupid of Leao to be down like that. He's not a defender. But then you look at every other replay, and you're like, did he not touch him? Did Barella jump? Did he dive? I agree it's a penalty. But some of the optics of every angle but the one look like maybe he didn't touch him. But I agree, it's a stupid play by Leao. It's a penalty. What was he doing back there? I don't know.
Yep. I watched Steve's podcast on Monday night last night, and I learned a new term, dick fuck all, and that's and I guess we can only use that when referring to Rafael Leao as Milan fans.
Yeah.
So Steve, that was well played. to the point where like my wife wasn't even, she was like she was trying to sleep and was watching it. We had the TV on, and then she rolls over and she's like, "What the hell are you watching?" What the hell are you watching? That somebody says "dick fuck all."
I get that all the time.
I pointed, and she's like, "Oh, those guys."
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my! Milan's hanging on for dear life, but in the 97th minute, Christian Eriksen perhaps proves his value, to Inter and scores
Poetic justice, almost.
Yeah, somewhat, and scores a great free kick to win the match. As a Milan fan, I'm mildly relieved, only because I hate losing derbies. Let's get that out in the open before everybody goes crazy. But I'm mildly relieved because, and Sabrina made a very good point on Twitter. I said, I'm not sure I would have been excited about 10 men having to play another 30 minutes.
Yeah.
If it had gotten to that, this one's a loss. Don't drag it out any further. Let's focus on the league now. I kind of agreed with that, as much as I want to beat Inter every time as a Milan supporter, but it's what it is. So, did you think there was a foul on that play that led to the Eriksen free kick?
Initially, yeah, I did. And then I saw a couple of replays where it looked like it was a blatant dive by LatinAutor. But like I said, when I was watching live, I thought it was a foul. I was like, oh, that's a stupid play. Why would you do that at the end of the game? And as soon as I saw Eriksen was on the pitch, I'm like, this is going to go in, watch. It's going to go in. And sure enough, it did. Only way that goal would have been better, even as a Milan supporter, is if he scored a goal, ran over to Conte, pulled his shorts down and told him, suck it or something like that. That would have been better for me. But the foul, if it's true that he did dive, that's a sucky way to end the game. But don't put yourself in positions, right, to be in that. We've talked about them many times, especially with penalties. Don't stick your leg out if your guy's gonna dive. Be smart about what you're doing, especially defensively in a big game. Teams that have lethal set piece takers, even like Eriksen. Yeah, maybe he hasn't scored in a while, but he's still a lethal free kick taker. Don't give him that opportunity. All he needs is one, right? Ronaldo only needs is one. So don't give these guys the opportunity to go down and then lead to a easy free kick.
Yep. So it ends 2-1 to Inter. I went to Twitter after the game and said, meh. I mean, it just was like, it was, I'm and we got a lot of Milan fans here in the chat right now.
Even
and
Uncle Sharma, even Uncle Sharma saying, it's soft,
but a foul. Yeah. Tatarusanu was great.
Man of the match for Milan for me.
Yep. Helped keep them in it. And, Tomori, his debut, I thought he was all right. Yeah. I mean, I don't think he wasn't a catastrophe, for having to be thrown into a crazy situation like this. And, it almost speaks to that situation. Kalulu, this is how he got started. Kjaer got hurt and Kalulu had to come in and, and people and the pundits were saying the same thing. For a young player, probably a better situation to just be thrown in as a substitute versus being told the night before that you're going to start.
Think about it and not sleep.
Right. So, so he could play on instinct and, and that sort of thing. So that was pleasant to see, at least from the Milan side. I think Kessie was his usual ground covering self. On the Inter side, Lukaku obviously was quite influential in this game. I thought their midfield again was good.
Barella was probably one of the best players.
Barella was one of the best players in this match. I thought Brozovic was very good. And I thought, Vidal didn't mess up too much. So.
I was surprised that when I saw Hakimi come in after halftime, I thought, okay, here they go. They're going to exploit Theo Hernandez and are really going to come down the right flank. And I didn't think he was as big an impact as he was in the first derby. He had a couple opportunities with shots from distance, but he was fairly quiet overall. I think you're right about that midfield was excellent for Inter. And obviously, Lukaku getting the goal that he felt he deserved, and especially after what happened in that first half. And Alexis Sanchez, I thought, was pretty good overall. Very smart play, very smart with the ball and avoiding tackles. So yeah, Inter deserved to win for sure. Based on the full 90, I say Inter is the best team. Now had certain events didn't happen in that game, it's a different story we're talking about. The first 45 or first 50 minutes, I said it's Milan had slightly better of the play, but Inter, kudos to them, they won. And now they get to go to the semifinals. But the first two legs, I guess they're without Lukaku and maybe Hakimi, maybe. So
is it Hakimi?
I believe it's Hakimi got a late yellow in that game, so we'll see who they have to play. But they deserve to go on, and hey, maybe they'll get a trophy this year after all. We'll see.
Yep.
There's still a couple up for grabs, right?
Yep, there are. Congratulations, Inter, on the win. Milan can now focus on the league. Maite was horrible today, even though he got the assist. I think it's just an issue of, I think in Maite, you have a somewhat decent player, but what is he right now in this Milan team?
Yeah.
Because he's not in the Atalanta game, I think he was out of position. I think that he makes much more sense in the double pivot, but I also think that there's been almost no time to play him in that role, no time to train him next to Kessie in that role. Yeah. So that's one that's going to, take some time. There's some talent there. It's just trying to make the right use of it. So, and I think that he's going to be one of those that it's going to take him some time to play his way in. So, anyway, so I think that's all we need to say about Coppa Italia. The rest of the podcast, we've got match week 19. We're going to whip right through that. Because since we've reached the end of match week 19, it means we're halfway through the season. It means Squadra Finora.
That's right.
And it also means our crap on a cracker 11. And this is, what people would consider a flop 11. Now, there are a lot of people out there that'll do a flop 11 and they'll put players in the team that made big money moves and never saw the pitch and say, well, he's a flop. Well, did he play enough for you to show that he was a flop? No, he didn't. Our crap on a cracker team, you had to have gone out and played and proved to Italy, proved to us that you sucked. Okay.
So you can't put Mandzukic on there, even though he just joined Milan?
Right. You could be a bad player on a bad team, or you could have been bad relative to expectations. We've got a combination of those in our team when we get into that. And of course, who on Calcio Twitter? We always have time for that. So,
always.
So that's the rest of it. Richard, do you want to start off with about the first half of games here for us?
Yeah, let's do it. So starting off, we have Benevento hosting Torino. Game started out very well for Benevento. They scored a penalty in the 31st minute, goal by Viola. Had that lead going into halftime. Coming out of the break, Lapadula would score a nice little side kick, make it 2-0. But immediately Zaza responded in 51st minute with a goal. And then in stoppage time, Zaza would get a brace. 2-2, that game ends there. Spezia Roma, that game was the goal fest of all the games you would have saw this weekend. That would have not been the game that I would have picked as the goal fest. Goal scoring started early. Mayoral goal in the 17th minute made it 1-0. That would be countered by Spezia in the 24th by Piccoli. Nice little goal there, make it 1-1. Mayoral would get a brace in the 52nd minute, 2-1 at that point. Diego Farias, he came up big in this game. He got a goal, made it 2-2. Karsdorp had scored just before him. So 3 quick goals within like a 7-minute span there. So it was 3-2 at that point when Farias scored. And then Verde would get a goal in the 90th minute, make it 3-3. And you're thinking, this game's over. But in stoppage time, Pellegrini scores a goal, takes his jersey off, celebrates. It was a pretty crazy game overall. Lots of goals, lots of good playing in that game. That midfield for Roma did find a way to get the win. A team against like Spezia, which you expect them to handle pretty easily, wasn't as easy as they'd hoped, and especially after that loss to the Coppa Italia to them last week. So a big game. Milan hosting Atalanta. Atalanta struggled a few days earlier against Udinese, so maybe they're looking at a bounce back, and they had a big bounce back in this one. I thought this was an excellent job by Gasperini and his men, winning 3-0 on the road. Romero get a goal in the 26th minute, a nice pass from Gostens over the top where he outjumped the defender and nice little diving play and make it 1-0. There would be a penalty in the 53rd minute. Frank Kessier would do an elbow on Ilicic. Blood was on his face, so it looked like it was a legit penalty there. Ilicic should step up, score a goal. And then Zapata in the 77th minute make it.
It's not a legit penalty unless we see blood, damn it.
That's right. A man's penalty there, right? So 3-0 Atalanta, embarrassing Milan at home. They win that game. Udinese Inter, the stinker of the weekend, 0-0. It's one-sided football, but Musso and company
got sent off.
Oh, what's new, right? Conte gets sent off. Didn't help his team much at all, and they ended up losing that game. And then the last game to round out my slate, Fiorentina hosting Crotone, and one of the goals of the week by Bonaventura, a wonderful off the chest and nice volley past the keeper, past Cordaz. 1-0 at that point in 20th minute. Vlahovic would make it 2-0 in the 32nd minute. They had good control of the game, but Saimi would peg one back late in middle of the second half, 66th minute. 2-1 Fiorentino win. That's my batch of the first round of games.
Well, first of all, last week we said on Serie Sitdown that we told Roma, I said, you know what, you might want to run this Meijerl kid out a little bit more and see what you got with him. Sure, so they do it, and what does he do? He gets a brace. So that was good. The game environment worked for Roma for the way they play. We've been talking about this countlessly now, Richard. Roma want to counter. Okay,
Yep.
that's what they're good at. That's how they score their goals. They don't want to boss possession. They're not going to win games with 60 to 65% possession. They're going to win games with 45% possession tops, where they're going to invite you to come forward, and then they're going to go the other way.
Yeah.
So that's and that's what happened here. Spezia had that edge in possession, and Roma was able to hit on the counter. I think all of their goals were counterattack goals too.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I'm
Really
not
well done,
mistaken.
too.
Yeah, really well done. So there was that to unpack. Milan were just dreadful. I mean, there's no other way to put it. I mean, you go and listen to Milan Weekly podcast yesterday. They have that covered head to toe.
There it is. Milan was pure shit.
Yeah, I mean, the goals, the way they conceded them. I mean, it was calamitous. I mean, they had everybody just froze.
They were just bullied by Atalanta.
When they played the ball backwards, and they invited Gozens to cross it, and Kalulu lets his man stay on side. And I made the comment on Twitter. I said, Milan just allowed Atalanta's worst player to score on them. So in Romero, and then it was a dumb penalty by Cassier. I don't know what Ilicic would have done in that particular situation.
Right.
Where it warranted Kessie being over there. So it was just an uncharacteristic thing. And then after that, Atalanta just get a goal because Milan are just so disjointed and spread out, trying to go forward and trying to get back into the game.
Yeah.
So it's it was a comprehensive performance from Atalanta. It's one that's invited them right back into the top four chase. It's one that's invited them back into the title race somewhat. So it was a great win for them. The combination of them and then Inter drawing at Udinese opened the door for everybody else. It's Inter, denied by Musso, 4 nice saves from him. But this is why it's hard to trust Inter as a title favorite, because for as completed performances they could have the week before against Juve, they go on the road against Udinese. They should be expected to win. They played their strongest team, and they can't break down Udinese. And it's not like Udinese's airtight. 28 goals conceded in 19 matches. So, so the two Milan clubs, really bad Saturday for them. Let's come back to Milan here. Ricky Buzz is with us. Ricky, good to see you. Steve's asking, how important is Benasser and Hakan to this Milan for the 19 games left? They're absolutely important. I mean, I think the continuity of Benasser and Kessie in that double pivot, that they're fit, that they don't get into trouble from a discipline standpoint, is going to be critical down the stretch. If they can play as many games as possible, to give themselves a chance here in this Scudetto race, because the combination of them is their best option in that role, in that 4-2-3-1 setup of Pioli's. Lukaku got his revenge. Okay. Yeah. He got a penalty. That's fine. Ibra got sent off. We covered all that already. Other than that, from your games, Benevento just was, you got to put those away. I mean, they're in a safe position right now, table wise, but it's Steve just wants to fight everybody in chat today. Are you looking at this? Unbelievable. But Zaza getting 2 goals. The second goal was one of my goal of the week candidates, only because of the Belotti pass.
Yeah, a lot of good passes this week.
Goals? Yeah, there were some good passes. The goals, there's one good goal all weekend. It was Bonaventura's. Right. So, the rest of these were, at the end of team play, at the end of a pass, or here or there. There wasn't anything magnificent. You could probably make an argument for DiMarco's goal too, which we'll talk about here shortly. So that's what I've got out of those 5 games, really. Torino 62% possession, 16 shots. and a lot of that came after they fell behind 2-0. So, but I mean, that's what I have out. I don't know what you had out of those 5 games beyond what we talked about.
Nah, that's about, you got it covered there. That's pretty much
right.
what I would have said.
So I'll move on, and I think Serie took into consideration the fact that we split the match days, and they gave, they made sure it was like 5 Sunday games, and then you got like the 4 Saturday, then 1 Friday, then I get the 5 Sunday, so it evens out. So we're not cutting into the Sunday to finish it out. So thank you, Serie. Great job with the scheduling this past weekend. Just let's work on the racism now. It opened with Sunday morning. Juventus hosting Bologna. Juventus winning 2-0. Arthur with a goal. McKinney with a goal. And you know what? 2-0 flatters Bologna. That was 9 saves for Skorupski in this game. This should have been a runaway for Juve. They just they ran into Skorupski, who otherwise this could have been about a 6 or 7-0 game here. So. Yeah. But Juve getting a crucial win to get them back into the picture here for the Scudetto. Genoa beats Cagliari by 1-0. Cagliari had 59% possession, 14 shots, but Mattia Destro, after a well-worked team move by Genoa, Mattia Destro scoring again. What the hell happened to Serie A? That Mattia
He's just trying to spite you. He's just trying to spite you, man.
Is that 8 goals for him now?
7 or 8, yeah.
But, I mean, this is indicative of a Davide Ballardini managed Genoa. Cagliari, 59% possession, 14 shots. And then Genoa goes and shithouses it the other way. Genoa up to 16th now and 4 points clear of safety. There was a few weeks ago where we wondered if that was even possible. So, under the radar, Ballardini putting in this system that nobody likes to play against and getting results. He drew Atalanta 0-0, by the way, recently as well. So, Hellas Verona with a 3-1 win over Napoli. Irving Lozano scoring about 7 or 8 seconds into the match. It wasn't the fastest goal in the history of Serie A. That's still Leao's. But Hellas Verona would win this through Federico Di Marco with a goal of the week candidate, Antonin Barak, and then Mattia Zaccagni getting on the score sheet. Good open game here between these two. It was Verona, who was far more dangerous on goal and far more dangerous with their chances. Not something that you say often about Napoli these days. Lazio 2, Sassuolo 1. It opened with Caputo scoring for Sassuolo. Milinkovic-Savic with a towering header in the second half. Yeah. Or was it? No, it was toward the end of the first half. Toward the end of the first half. And then Ciro Immobile with the winner. Lazio outshot Sassuolo 20-5 in this game. And then Sampdoria 2. At Parma 0, Yoshida and Keita Baldi. It was Emil Audero keeping the clean sheet for Sampdoria with 6 saves. Where do you want to start with those?
Start with the reigning champions, Juventus. It was complete domination against Bologna. I mean, I don't know what to say. I don't even know how to defend Bologna. I mean, this is a team that is underachieving, especially against Juventus. I think this is a game that you would think they would give Juventus kind of trouble. They should in these kind of games. They have the quality to make it difficult for opponents. They did not. And you got to give credit to Juventus for stepping up and playing very well. Somebody, I don't know who, kept saying that, hey, this McKinney guy is really good at headers and corners. And he got another goal. He's got like 4 goals now or something. He's probably the signing of the season for them. Playing really, really well for them. All I hear is praise from the Juventus camp on them. And Arthur getting his first goal, deflection or not, it's a goal, right? But they found a way to win. It's big for them because the 2 Milan clubs didn't do well at all this weekend, so they got to make up ground. Looking at the Genoa Cagliari game, I'm so confused and perplexed by Cagliari, and I hope George isn't in this chat. If he is, cover up your ears. But they're playing like shit, and they're not finishing their opportunities. They're in the relegation battle at the moment. Why are they in the relegation battle? If you look at this team from top to bottom, there's no reason they should be even close to relegation fight. None. And yet, with EDF, they're just not. It's not working at all. There's no chemistry there from anywhere, and I don't know. And I mean, obviously, you got to give credit to Genoa to still. They're trying to fight this way out. Like you said, they've battled out of this relegation for now, and that goal that Destro scored. I mean, it was a great team play. It was very, very well worked by that team, and they're fighting game in and game out, and it just Cagliari. I'm just so disappointed by them. I mean, and they're playing just so bad, and the games are close, but they're still losing, and all that matters in this day and age is getting points and getting wins, and Cagliari is failing to do that. So I I'm just leaves me speechless. I don't know what quality, how you feel about that game.
Well, welcome to playing Ballardini's Genoa, and he's getting results.
Yeah.
It's not like he's getting. I mean, Cagliari is a talented team, and they got to win against them. They drew Atalanta 0-0. They drew Lazio. So they're not
credit.
Yeah. I mean, you take a look at Genoa's form here in their last 5 games: 2 wins, 2 draws, and a loss. They're definitely trending. So, I mean, I don't think that we can. I mean, but Cagliari's making their own trouble too. Let's not kid ourselves here.
Yeah.
By wasting opportunities, missing chances, and and the like. And the quality is there for them to get it done. So in this case, you're playing a Genoa team who is making life miserable on everybody again. But now you've got Cagliari has created their own problems. There's really no getting around it.
Yeah. Speaking of another team that's creating their own problems, Napoli. I mean, they started out great. I can't figure this team out. One game, they look amazing, world beaters. 3-4 goals in the first half. Another game, they just look completely average. I mean, it started out well, right? Lozano scoring goal 7-8 seconds into the match. But full credit to Hellas. I mean, the job Juric is doing with his club, with a team that has Kalinic as one of your strikers. It's an amazing job. And I mean, I think of all the top 8 teams, Hellas has the best record head-to-head. That's amazing. I would never guess that. But they bounced back. They got players like Di Marco and Zaccagni. They both scored in this game. Barak is scoring again. It's been a while since we thought when he first jumped on the scene at Udinese, there's a lot of hype about him, but then he kind of like faded away, and now he's starting to get some goals now. So, good for him. And Hellas, they just, like we've said before, they lose players and they just plug someone else in. And Juric, I mean, he's got to be in the discussion for manager of the year based on what Hellas is doing. If they find a way to get a European spot, look out. My goodness. We were saying, look at Sassuolo this year, but Hellas could just sneak in there as well. So good for them. I mean, it's a perplexing loss for Napoli. I know Gattuso and Insigne took that loss pretty hard, but you got to give credit to Hellas for they kind of like Ballardini and Genoa. They know they play a certain way, and it's going to be difficult against them, and they know how to punish you. So full credit to Hellas in that game. I thought it was a great response after giving up a punch in the face 1 minute into the match.
Yeah, it was an excellent response. Joint top of the league in goals against with Juventus. Juventus still have another game to play.
Ciao, Giuseppe.
Against Napoli. Ciao, Giuseppe. So it's I mean, it's they suffer some losses, but they regroup and they do it smartly, and they all of a sudden put in another performance. So that was sorry.
I'm getting distracted.
Yeah, I'm getting distracted here. I got Steve asking if we want to talk a little Mercato. So I just wanted to get that pulled up here because we can talk about that too. Since we really have one good goal all week, which was Bonaventura's volley for Fiorentina. The rest of them were good team play. I mean, nothing that made you think this could be a goal of the season candidate or anything like that. So we'll just say that okay, we've got Bonaventura with the goal of the week, and we can just move on to talking a little Mercato.
Yep, that works for me. Obviously, the big name that's going to take precedence, at least today, officially Sevilla signed Papu Gomez. He's no longer an Atalanta player, and apparently he had his heartwarming video goodbye to Atalanta. Well done there. And he's officially gone. We speculated whether he was going to stay or not, but he has moved on, and it was inevitable, right? He's been sitting for how many games now? A healthy scratch. Even if you look on the website, it says like, "Oh, he's injured. Coach's decision." It's like, yeah, okay, whatever. You say what you want. So good for him. He's moving on. I would like to see him stay in Serie A. You like to see the talent stay, but give him a chance to go somewhere else. And Atalanta is not going to miss him. They're going to miss his personality, but they got so many players. It's a plug and play system over there. They just find gems, and they're fine. They obviously beat Milan to crap. A big move, another move that happened today. Hellas are probably screaming a little sigh of relief that Kalinic is not going to lead the line for them anymore. They got Kevin Lasagna, who was having a terrible season at Udinese, but he is a good striker. He's on the Azzurri, so he needed a change. Udinese needed him to go, and He's going to go to Hellas, and he's going to get fed the balls by Ceane, DeMarco, and company, and Barak. He's going to have a field day there. I think he's going to do well in the second half for Hellas. We thought they were dangerous. They're going to be more dangerous now that they actually have a competent striker leading the way as opposed to Mr. Kalinic.
That's a nice get. I can do victory laps because I think I've said on multiple platforms, including this one, I've said it on Alex Donald's radio show that a destination for Papu Gomez could be Spain, for a team that could be making that leap. Much like what Real Sociedad got with David Silva. That a La Liga team might want to take an interest in acquiring Papu Gomez. Sevilla is an amazing fit for him. Well, let's just see what happens here because there are a ton of playmakers on that team. How they offload that and how they manage that is going to be interesting, and how they, figure out how they fit Gomez's talents within that system will be interesting and exciting all at the same time. Atalanta will miss Papu. They didn't miss him on Saturday, Steve. I believe in Ilicic's talent. I believe in Malinovsky's talent, and I really like Alexei Miranchuk. I touted him when Atalanta made the move to get him in the offseason. From the games that I watched him play for Lokomotiv Moscow in the Champions League, he's a guy that definitely fits what the system and the way that Gasparini and Atalanta like to attack. I think they'll be fine.
Papa was brilliant last season. He was MVP of the year for me. Certainly, I mean, he had crazy numbers last year. If people were touting Bruno Fernandes over at United, and even some numbers that Çalhanoğlu has, and Papu Gomez was even playing better than them. I mean, he was so good for him and Ilicic last year were amazing. Yeah, they're going to miss him, but I think Atalanta are in such a good spot with scouting and the players that they get that they're gonna. They're going to miss him a little bit, obviously, but I think they're going to be fine without him. And hopefully he does really well at Sevilla. And who knows, maybe if he'll play against some Italian that's here in the near future. You'll never know.
Yep. Looks like Verona also got Stefano Sturaro on loan from Genoa too. So
decent pickup. That's a decent pickup there.
Yeah, very decent pickup. So Hellas Verona in a way has made some reinforcements here. Milan just offloaded Musacchio to Lazio. That's a
win for Milan.
That is a weird one for me.
Yeah.
Jerry was on Twitter sugarcoating it. I said to him, that guy's a booking or a red card waiting to happen every time he steps on the pitch.
Yeah.
You're going to find yourself pretty unhappy with that guy. Milan
also got rid of Andrea Conti, right? To Parma.
Yep. Off to Parma. And made his first appearance on Sunday too, against Sampdoria. Didn't get a chance to pay attention to how well he played, but Milan
had 3 pickups of their own, right? They got Tamori that we mentioned. He played Mandzukic. They got another striker, a younger striker to back up Zlatan.
Yeah, a younger striker. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So he's gonna be backing up Zlatan, and then Miete that we talked about. He also played in the derby. So yeah, three good pickups for Milan. I thought overall. Alfred Duncan going from Fiorentina to Cagliari on a loan. That was an interesting move.
What do you think of Kokorin coming to Fiorentina from Spartak Moscow?
Yeah. That's an interesting move.
Only for $4.5 million.
Absolutely a cheap move, but it was a great move, I think.
Yeah.
We'll see what he does for them, but I'm hearing good things from the way he's played over there, and so I think it'll be a good fit for them, and he should do well.
Yep. So I think that covers the latest and greatest transfers that went down over the last week or so. So
yeah.
We'll see. I mean, I hard to point out any winners or losers. These guys need to get acclimated. They need to get into their teams a little bit, and there's not going to be a lot of instant impact out of the guys that are in these teams. We'll see. I think Lasagna has the best chance. Yeah. So we'll see what happens with that. So your thoughts on the transfer market, go to @Sitdown on Twitter or Instagram. Let's move on to some mid-season awards, good and bad. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Let's get the crap out of the way because we don't like spending time on this, but we will.
It has to be done.
Yeah, you have to give some attention to it.
We need to call these people out for their poor play.
Yep. Crap on a Cracker 11. This is our version of what people would consider the flop 11 of the first half of the season. Like I said, you've got people out there that want to say, well, this guy made a move and then doesn't get a game, so he's a flop. No, you had to play, and you had to play a certain number. You had to have made a certain number of appearances, and you had to have proven you were garbage. We have bad players on bad teams. We have players who are performing poorly relative to what the expectations are of them. We have a nice combination of the two.
If you're in the chat, definitely leave us a comment on who you think should be on this team, because I'm curious what other people think. But because we got our own take, and Frank just laid it out how we're going to go with it. But I'm curious what people think. So if you're in the chat, definitely put some names in there who you think are crap performers this first half of the season here. So
agreed. No problem. Goalkeeper is Salvatore Sirigu of Torino. We normally never see him playing this. I mean, he did a near post goal he just gave up against Benevento on Friday. Is all you need to know about how it's going for him. A lot of that is the tactics of Giampaolo and the players not playing for him, but in the end, you're the shot stopper. And Salvatore Sirigu, still with the experience and with what he can bring to the table, shouldn't be in a situation where he's on a team that has conceded 37 goals in 19 games, and in which he's played in most of them. I think there was another goalkeeper that stepped in there for a couple of games. Yeah. Can't remember the name. It was Vanja Milinkovic-Savic. Yep. So, but our goalkeeper is Salvatore Sirigu. This is a 4-4-2. The back four is right back Martin Caceres of Fiorentina makes this list. The center backs are Simone Jacoponi of Parma, and Sebastiano Luperto of Crotone. Yep. Left back is Luca Pellegrini of Genoa. And what's interesting is Cáceres, when he played with Juve, when he played a lot, he's been decent, but he has been utterly disappointing.
He's been brutal.
He has been brutal. And Pellegrini is usually a guy that's middling. He's halfway decent, but it's not working.
But it's not working at all. And I mean, some of the players at Genoa are working, but I mean, the fit is not working at the moment. He needs to be in either another position or maybe another team. I don't know.
Yep. Moving into the midfield, the right midfielder is Federico Bernardeschi of Juventus. Center midfield, Luca Moroni of Crotone. 5 yellow cards in 14 appearances. All he does is run around and foul people. Speaking of Lucas Lerner of Genoa also makes this list. Just hasn't been inspiring is really the best way you can put it. Had been decent prior to this, but has definitely dropped off. And then Ivan Perisic as a left midfielder, as a left wing back, but we're going to qualify him as a left midfielder. It hasn't really worked out in the appearances that he has been given. So, it's Perisic has been disappointing in his return coming back from Bayern Munich. But some of this I also would argue is harsh because he is playing a little bit out of position. I don't think he's a wingback in a 3-5-2. I think he's a left forward in a 4-3-3, and I think that's where he thrives. Yeah,
that's true. But I think as good as he's played in the past, you'd expect someone of his ilk to be able to adjust and be able to find ways to be productive, whether it's getting goals or getting assists or just being creative. And it seems that he is not really contributing much offensively or defensively in that matter. And you kind of get the reason why Bayern decided not to pick him up and keep him, right? Is they thought maybe he didn't have enough to be at that level, Champions League level. So that's why they got rid of him. And it's kind of showing now with Inter. And he's, I expected him not to be the same player he was before when he was at Inter, but I thought he would get some, good assists and goals and help out offensively. And he really hasn't. And he's been coming off the bench a lot as well, but yeah, he's been underachieving so much, and I think Inter would be even a stronger team than they are right now if Perisic was playing to his ability levels, and he's by far not doing that. So he's a deserved indoctrination into this top flop 11, I should say.
Yeah, for sure. And then finally, our forwards, Paulo Dybala of Juventus and Kevin Lasagna of Udinese round out our forwards. Dybala he's been given enough chances, and there was one game where he shot everything in sight, and you're just like, okay, he's working his way out of it. But then he went from that to just going back to disappearing in the appearances that he's been given.
Yeah, it's I don't know what the heck's going on there, because it seems like most of their attack is doing fairly well, but he just not fitting into Pirlo's system at all. And he's another player where you think that with his talent, he'd be able to figure it out and still contribute more offensively. He really hasn't, and it's been the one one of the few I guess down things we've seen with Juventus so far this season, especially offensively, because they do have a lot of possession, do have a lot of chances, but Dybala, when he gets his chances, they're high and wide and they're nowhere near the goal. And yeah, at times the goalies make some great saves, but you expect someone like him with the seasons he's had in the past to do much better, and he's very disappointing for Juventus. And then Lasagna, we talked about he got that move to Hellas, but it wasn't working. Even in the past when Udinese has been struggling, Lasagna has found ways to score goals, and this season he just can't for whatever reason. He's getting opportunities, and he's not facing the stellar goaltender every week, so that's not his excuse. It's just not working out. I don't know if it's just he's not getting the right passes to him or what, but he needed to go. He's certainly in this top 11. He's leading the line for good reason, because we all had high expectations for him, especially the Azzurri fans. We expect to have someone who's going to come off the bench for us in the European Championships and do well. And at this rate, he's not going to even make the team. So he needs to hopefully go to Hellas and turn things around.
Yeah, agreed with you there. Lasagna definitely has the to your point, he has the best chance to play his way out of this team, out of everybody that's in this list. So, manager. If we got to pick a manager for this, I'm going to say it's Eusebio Di Francesco. Cagliari should not be an 18th right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's out of the, because you still have to have your job right now. I mean, let's have that.
Would have been Liverani, but he just lost his job.
Right. So Eusebio Di Francesco is the manager of this team, but just based on how much Cagliari are underachieving at this point. So.
Yeah, I agree with that. He should. He might not have a job too much longer if this stays the way it is. So.
Yeah, for sure. So, all right. Well, let's move on to something happier, something more that people can strive for, and or whatever. Aspire to be. I mean, a lot of the people in the chat and ourselves are a little too old to try to aspire to have the otherworldly talent that these guys have, but. These are the guys. These are the 11, and then we also have substitutes as our honorable mentions.
Well, let's have some fun with this. Well, let's add a screen here. Let's make it a little bit fun.
Oh, wow. Look at you with the technology.
Yeah.
This is fantastic. Now, is there a way do you put substitutes in here or no?
They'll just be left on the bench. This is the bench here, and we'll leave them on the bench.
Okay, so do we have a huge pile of candidates here, as you can see. Yep. You can recognize by the pictures who they are, and so on and so forth. We picked our Squadra Finora. We were in agreement except for one player, I think, Richard. Which usually we agree on 8 and then make a decision on 3. Miguel's in the house. Good to see you, my friend.
Hey, Miguel.
So let's get on with it. This is the Serie sit-down Squadra Finora of the 2020-2021 season. And in goal, our goalkeeper for the Squadra Finora is Gianluigi Donnarumma of Milan.
Yeah.
7 clean sheets in 19 games. Made some key saves to preserve wins for the Rossoneri, throughout this remarkable stretch that they've been on. And a big part of why they are top of the table here in Serie A, the best goalkeeper in the league at the moment.
Yeah, there's some pretty good goaltending performances this year, but I think Donnarumma has come up big. It's a big reason why Milan are in a position where they are at the moment. At times when the defense does falter, he's there to pick them up, make some big saves in big games. He's really starting to become a leader on this team as well, even though he's still 21 years old too. So he's still a young guy. Yeah. He's played 200 games or something with Milan already. So he's grown into his position. This position is his. The Azzurri position is his as well. And his performances this year, like you said, 7 clean sheets, and he's just a stellar quality goaltender that you can rely on game in and game out, no doubt.
Yep, he is. He's been very good. We'll talk about the other goalkeeper that we were considering for this position when we get to the substitutes and the honorable mentions. So, the Squadra Finora as well is a 4-4-2. Usually, we find a formation that pays homage to a manager. In his system and that sort of thing, and try to get consistent with it, because our Squadra Finora does have to be functional, in order for it to work. So at right back, gone are the times where we had to deputize a left back and Robin Gosens to be our right back for our Squadra Finora and for our team of the season. We actually have a right back. He's actually a right wing back in a 3-5-2, but he qualifies as our right back, Ashraf Hakimi of Inter.
No-brainer.
makes the Squadra Finora. This is a slam dunk.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about it from the moment this transfer happened, that this was the perfect fit signing out of all of the transfers that were going to come to Serie A. And he has not disappointed. He has scored goals. He has created goals. He has given people fits along that flank. He is he's lived up to his talent, Richard.
Yeah, he's taken last year's sweetheart, Theo Hernandez, and he made him look amateur in the first derby. He's just anybody comes up against it, can't find a way to defend him. He's a pretty good defender in his own right, but he also the attack, what he brings to the attack is just amazing. He's constantly down there. The amount of energy this guy has, he has the same burst of speed in the first minute of the game and the 90th minute of the game. He's constantly running and he never loses energy. I mean, he's a great player. He's a great fit for Inter, and I think, like you said, sign of the season. Stevie, I know, thinks Calabria's been better. Calabria's been very good. He was we thought about bringing him in, but
Calabria was the only other player we were considering for this position.
But I think Hakimi has just been lights out, I think, compared to Calabria. Calabria's been stellar, but above expectation. But I think Hakimi's been just that much better than he is. It was a no-brainer, I think, really, for both of us.
Yep. We're staying in the city of Milan for our first center back selection, and we are picking Simon Kjaer of the Rossoneri. When you look at this, he's missed some games through injury. You see how disorganized Milan look without him. When you see him in there, you see how he has it together. You see how he has it organized. He is a veteran presence among all of those young players back there. He has been calm. He's been a rock. He might not be athletically imposing, but what he lacks in that, he makes up for in tactical smarts, and has been a big key to Milan's performances defensively and how they've been able to turn a lot of games into wins. Simon Kjaer makes our Squadra Finora.
Yeah, I think if it wasn't for Zlatan, he'd be the player, the best player on the team, based on performance. And Gigio was obviously doing very well as too, but I think Kjaer has been, or however you want to pronounce it, I'm going to say Kjaer. He's a perfect complement to Romagnoli. And Romagnoli is a really great defender, but I think Kjaer makes him that much better, makes the defense that much better, makes the team that much better. His leadership is so important for them. And he just tackles so well. He reads the play. He's positionally great. Doesn't have the athletic ability, like you said, but he has the smarts to be in the right position, perfect timing of the tackles. Obviously plays the best attackers in the opposition and shuts them down most of the time. Health is his big thing, but I mean, when he's playing the game, he is Milan's defense is stellar when he's in there. When he's not, you can tell. It's a big difference when he's in and he's not with the team, and that's not to discredit anybody else on the defense. They're still a pretty decent defense, but I think with him back there, they are that much better, and they look like a top place team with him there. And I think he's absolutely deserving of a spot in the back four.
Absolutely. And we are staying in Milan for the other center back.
Stay here the whole time, huh?
A player that you could probably argue is the most improved player in Serie A this season, or he's going to be in your top three in that conversation. Alessandro Bastogne of Inter finishes our center back pairing, and yes, he plays in a back three, and he's on the left side of a back three. But but he proved with the national team that he can be part of a center back pairing in a back four.
Yep.
He defends well. His passing is exceptional. He gets forward and scores on set pieces. He's kind of become the modern center back that just happens to be the left side of a back three for Inter, but would be a very good fit in our 4-4-2. Alessandro Bastogne of Inter.
My goodness. I mean, this guy has such amazing passing ability for his young age. I mean, what was it? A couple weeks ago, had that beautiful pass from deep over the top, and I think he found Lukaku for the goal. Maybe it was Arturo, I forget. But he can pass the ball. He's very good defensively. He's good in the air. He's got several header goals this year. I mean, he's just a complete defender, and he's going to be the future for the Azzurri going forward. I think he's going to be playing in the European Championships, like you mentioned. He did very well for them. And there's only been praise for this kid. A lot of hype came with him before he started playing with them. But with the hype, sometimes people don't live up to it. I think Bastogne has certainly maybe stayed grounded because of that hype and has played almost to expectations, if not higher. And so, yeah, he's one of the best defenders I think this year so far. So a lot of good defenders and some ones that we've talked about numerous times have been stalwarts, and he's kind of unplanted them so far. He's been very, very good, and he's arguably the best defender of the year so far. So,
moving over to left back, we're finally going to get out of Milan, Richard.
we are.
We're going to get out of Milan for this one. So it wasn't Teo, and it wasn't Ashley Young. So
Not Kolarov?
No, not Kolarov either. So we are going to Verona. And our left back in the Squadra Finora is Federico Di Marco. And he is, especially over the last 7 or 8 games, he has come on like absolute gangbusters for Ivan Juric's men. Great crosser of the ball. The defending is decent, but when I've got Bastogne next to him, I can live with it. He scores goals too. He scored a wonder goal just a few weeks ago. Versatile left-sided player in the defense that can get forward. A guy that would frighten me if he ever ended up at Inter. As a Milan fan, he'd be a very good fit there. He'd be a very good fit at Lazio if you're looking at his next move. But a young man that has come on very strongly and has earned this place here. You're talking about You're talking about a league that has a Teo Hernandez, that has an Alexandro, it has a Robin Gozens. These are the guys that we've called on in the past that are still very good players at that position. Federico Di Marco has outplayed all of them. He's been very, very good and has been a big, big reason why we're talking about Verona being some kind of threat to Europe. And don't get me wrong, Teo is probably one of the guys that we're talking about. We're having a conversation about as far as, challenging him for this position. But for me, I've got Federico Di Marco just ahead of him on what he has done and what he has meant for Verona this season.
Yeah, you said that he contributes offensively. I think that's an understatement because he seems like he's always in the opposition's box, either getting shots off or trying to find someone for a pass, either Ceane or Barak or whoever. He's so quick on the ball. He plays smart passes. He's good positionally. He does enough defensively, I think, like you said. And I think he's just come on in the last, 10 weeks or so, and is just really just opening your eyes. And every time Verona play, he's always involved. Amazing job by Juric and his team his management for getting him ready. And he's really playing way above expectations. And like you said, there's some names in here that normally are in the starting 11, but he's outperformed all of them. And not that they're playing bad; it's just he's playing really, really well. I agree with you. Teo Hernandez is someone who we think, when he's on his top game, he is one of the best, no doubt about it. But, this season, I think Mr. Di Marco has played better than him just a bit. I love the kid. I love watching the kid play. And I agree with you. If he ever went to a rival, it just caused me nightmares all the time. I just can't imagine like you said, Inter, imagine Di Marco on the left, Hakimi on the right. That's a freaking nightmare there.
Yeah, definitely agree with you there. So, Di Marco makes it as our left back. Now moving into the center of our midfield, and we're going to go back to Milan for both of these positions. They're first and second in the league, and they have been the 2 best teams in this league up to this point when you take a look at the body of work.
Absolutely.
Let's unleash the beast. We talk about Milan ready to unleash is their slogan. Frank Kessie has been a beast in the midfield for Milan. He has scored some goals. He's penalties, albeit, but the ball winning, the energy, supporting defenders, covering the ground. The man's all over the place in a good way. We've got guys that can be playmakers. We got guys that can get goals, and Kessie can get his share of goals when we really, really need him to. But we need that guy that's just going to maraud all over from box to box and just tackle and win everything. Frank Kessie is in our Squadra Finora this time around. I
don't know if there's anyone in our top 11 who gets more shit than Kessie has, and undeservedly so. I think he's been amazing for them. He has that grinta that what you need in that midfield, but his overall talent is just getting better and better each and every game. He's bossing people in the midfield. He's bossing big attackers on the opposition. He's just doing it all. And you saw a little bit in the derby today where he also has that skill set where he's, juggling the ball around 3 or 4 guys and getting past them. And he has speed too. And he's so intelligent. I mean, he's just a beast. He is a beast. And he's one of the best midfielders. He's from where he started with Milan to where he is now. It's just night and day. And he's getting better and better. And he's one of the rocks of Serie A in terms of midfielders. For me, and a lot of people were praising Benasser early on, and Benasser was doing very well, but Cassie has just been a beast all season long. And he's fully deserving of being in our midfield. And the other midfielder we're going to talk about here in a second is just as deserving, different qualities, but just as good.
The guy's just outstanding right now. The form that this player is in is sensational. And it's not the goals. He creates chances. He's a ball winner. I mean, he's an engine room guy. He can defend. He can win tackles, but then he can also create. He can also score. He's really becoming a complete midfielder before our eyes in Serie. Nicolo Barella completes our two-man central midfield in the Squadra Finora for Inter.
Yeah. I mean, he's probably one of the best midfielders in not only Serie A, but probably in Europe at the moment. I mean, what he's doing with the Azzurri and for Inter, just amazing things. He gets the assists, he gets the goals. I agree with Steve. If Frank would score more, he'd probably be the complete midfielder. But Barella is pretty close to that complete midfielder. I mean, just the vision this guy has, the ball winner, like you said, he has. He's a leader on the team, on and off the pitch. And I mean, what more can you say? We saw the glimpses of him when he was, coming up the ranks, at Cagliari. But what he's doing now is just he's took it to another level, and he's making people chase him now. And when he made that position, the Azzurri, which is a pretty good midfield there, his own there. And so he's going to be the first name on the sheet and the team sheets for any team he plays with. And I think such a special player. I mean, just such a special player. He's good. He can score goals. He can pass. He does it all. Amazing player.
Yep, no doubt about it. So that's our central midfield. So we've got 7 down, 4 to go. Let's get into the attacking midfield. And we start with a player who just returned. Inter, ciao guys. Thanks for the show. We'll have to rewind and tune in after work. Forza Barella for life. Yeah, I mean, that's the impact that he's having among the Inter faithful, no doubt about it. But let's talk about a player that only has recently come on over the last several weeks. Now, he was possibly, when we had our team of the season last year, the injury kept him out of the team of the season last year, and people were thinking, well, that's a snub. Now he's played, and made his appearances. And he has come on like gangbusters ever since coming back. He's the reason why a certain Papu Gomez is now going to be playing in Spain. Josip Ilicic is one half of our attacking midfield in the Squadra Finora.
What more can you say about this guy? I mean, I think for the reason maybe Atalanta didn't go as far as they could have in the Champions League last year is because they didn't have this guy. When he's on his game, he is a freaking magician. He's not the most athletic guy, but he still evades guys. I mean, we saw last week or 2 weeks ago where he went through 4 guys multiple times in a game and led to goals. He's not that very quick, but he's just so good, so elusive. His vision is amazing. He's got a rocket of left foot. He can shoot with his right foot. He is a magician. He's very underrated for the talent that he has. I mean, when all said and done and he retires, he'll go down in Atalanta history as one of the best that they've ever had. And in Serie A as well. He's a magician with the ball, and it's amazing what this guy can do with being so slow-footed, right? You would think someone at his pace, people chase him down, but he's just elusive, and it's an amazing job what this guy can do. I mean, he's just getting better and better with age. He's like fine wine.
I mean, just 10 starts, 13 total appearances, but 3 goals, and that doesn't even tell the story. He's got 5 assists. He's got 2.7 key passes per game. Crosses the ball. And we needed a guy in this starting 11 that could take some set pieces for us too. Let's face it. Yeah. I mean, we've got DiMarco that could do it, and we got a couple of good left-footed players now in this team. So that certainly helps us out. The other half of the attacking midfield is the one where you and I conceded to your pick. Yeah. But I don't think we would have gone wrong with any decision. Yeah. But we're going to go to Roma, and we're going to go to Henrik Mkhitaryan, making our Squadra Finora. 8 goals and 8 assists for the Giallorossi. A big part of why Fonseca's men currently sit in third. Really the catalyst of the counterattack for this Roma team. When you see them going forward and when you see them on the break, he is always involved, it seems. And we're going to have moments where we're going to have to get behind the ball a little bit. And, I need a guy that can, work in behind our forwards. That can trail things, or that can pass and that can follow. 8 goals and 8 assists. You mentioned Mkhitaryan should be in our Squadra Finora. I was not going to fight you on it, and I'll share who I thought deserved the other attacking midfield spot a little bit later. But let's talk about Mkhitaryan and why he's deserving of his place. Yeah,
there's some certainly other options that we could have gone with, but I mean, you look at what this guy contributes to Roma. He is a big reason why Roma are in the 3rd position right now on the table. 8 goals, 8 assists. I mean, that's amazing for any kind of player. And we talked about how good this Roma midfield is, but he is the catalyst for it all. He can play in the false 9 when he needs to. He leads the counterattacks. Yeah, he's just such a good player, and he's been a good player for a long, long time. Many wonder, though, with his age getting up there, he's 31, 32 years old. Could he still do it? And he still's got pretty good pace for himself. But he's very creative, very elusive, much like Ilicic. And he's always in the right place at the right time. He just knows where the open spot is, or can find the open spot for his teammate, whoever's Mayoral or Dzeko or whomever. He can find people, and he's a huge reason, like I said earlier, why Roma are in 3rd place. I think if they don't have him, they're going to be somewhere, a 7th, 8th spot. And I think Roma are in a far better position this season because of the way he's playing. I had Roma, being out of the top 4, maybe even out of the top 6. But the way he's playing right now, he's making them a Champions League team. I mean, it's no, you can't say anything about it. It's fact there. And 8 goals, 8 assists. I mean, that's great for any player, and good for him.
Yep, indeed. No doubt about it. Now we move on to the strikers. And we will start.
A lot of options. Man, we have strikers that we left off, even off the substitutes bench, that would be very, very rewarding, would be in this team. Guys that have been in this squad, if you know, that we don't even have in the conversation right now. Yeah. That's how good it's been with strikers in this league this year. And it's always a great season for strikers. But we're going to go back to Milan, and we are going to go with Zlatan Ibrahimovic for the Squadra Finora. And this is all about goal frequency. Yeah.
The man is scoring about every 60 minutes in the league. And a 39-year-old shouldn't be doing that, Richard.
No, he really shouldn't. He's 12 goals in something like 10 games or something. He's been missing for a good part of the season. Got to remember that. And he's still up there in the goal scoring. You say he scores every game, 1 or 2 goals every game. He obviously scored, in the game today. For a guy his age, he's putting up ridiculous numbers. He might be the best 39-year-old ever. I don't know. But just in the frequency aspect, that's why. I mean, there's some guys who have maybe a couple more goals than him, but the frequency that he's putting these goals in for any age is unreal. And for his 39-year-old age to have 12 goals in whatever many games, more goals in games, it's hats off to him. He had to be in the lineup because of his performance.
12 goals in 9 appearances.
9 appearances. So I gave him 1 game extra. So look at that. That's ridiculous.
Yep. So let's just put that in perspective. If he's fit enough to play the last 19 games, he'll finish the season with 37 goals at that pace.
My goodness.
He'll break Immobile's record if he continues that pace. Now, of course, that's going to normalize.
Yeah.
But
and he's fragile lately, so
yeah. So that is why he makes this team. I mean, the pace is just absolutely ridiculous. And when we get to the substitutes bench, we're going to talk about another player who's on a ridiculous pace as well.
Yeah.
Rounding out the Squadra Finora is Cristiano Ronaldo. This is a country for all. We got a lot of old dudes on this team. But played 15, scored 15. That's fine. Some of them are penalties, but you still got to score them. I mean, if we dog him for scoring penalties now, then we have to take away Immobile being our player of the season last season for his record-breaking year, because a number of those goals were penalties.
Yeah.
So Ronaldo makes the Squadra Finora. Played 15, scored 15. One of the leading. I think he is he the leading scorer right now at this point?
He is.
Okay.
By 2 goals, I think, over Lukaku.
Yep. So the current leader in the race for the Capocannonieri gets in the Squadra Finora. I don't think we've ever had one where the current Capocannonieri leader was not in it. So Ronaldo makes it on his 15 goals, and being a big part of why Juve are right in the thick of things.
Yeah. No, absolutely. He's fully deserving, and 15 goals, 15 games. So nothing to slouch about. It looks mediocre compared to 12 goals in 9 games from Zlatan, but still 15 and 15. He's still continuing to produce. He's going to end up around 30 goals this year, much as he did last year. So yeah, it doesn't matter. This guy's good. And, at times when the offense is struggling over at Juventus, he produced something out of nothing, whether with his headers, his shots, his assists. He can still do it at 34 years old, or 35, whatever he is. So yeah, it's a no-brainer for me with this one.
First 11. So our first 11 for the Squadra Finora: the goalkeeper Gianluigi Donnarumma, a back four of Ashraf Hakimi, Simon Kjaer, Alessandro Bastogne, and Federico Di Marco, a central midfield pair of Frank Kessie and Nicola Barella, an attacking midfield of Josip Ilicic and Henrik Mkhitaryan, and our front two of Cristiano Ronaldo and Zlatan Ibrahimovic. We're not going to outrun anybody with that lineup.
No, we're going to beat them on talent. We're going to beat them on talent alone.
Yeah, we may not have to.
Beat them up is what we'll do. Well, I think this team needs a manager. What do you think? There's a lot of good managers. Before we get to substitutes, we discussed about the managers.
Stefano Pioli is the manager of the half season. I mean, and it is only just over Ivan Juric of Verona, in our opinion. I mean, everybody's back doing their predictions for Serie A and talking about Inter, talking about Juventus, talking about Milan. Finally, this being the season they're in fourth. No ardent Milan supporter would see Milan as winter champions.
Other than Ibra, which is what Milan are. Currently top of the table and ahead by 2 points, and has Milan fans dreaming, maybe, just maybe. I'm still being stubborn about this and saying, hey, top four. I don't care where in the top four, just get top four. But for me, Stefano Pioli, and not only that, but having to, juggle things, going periods of time without Ibrahimovic, going periods of time without Kjaer, going periods of time without Benacer, key players, and still plugging guys in and figuring out how to grind out wins, and keep this place at the top of the table. And I think the combination of all of that makes Stefano Pioli, our manager of the half season and the manager of this Squadra Finora team. Yeah, I agree about that. And I think, a close second was, like you mentioned, was Ivan Juric. The job he's doing with Hellas Verona is just amazing. They're currently in 8th place. Like I said, of the top 8 teams, head-to-head, Hellas has the best record. They play stout defensively. They can score goals. I mean, look what they did to Napoli this past weekend, 3-1 there. Now they're getting a quality striker in Kevin Lasagna. So yeah, I mean, the job that they do there, I mean, year in and year out, it seems like that they grow these special talents and then they lose them to a bigger club and then they just plug somebody else in and then continue going on. Very much like Atalanta, but on the defensive side. And again, one of the best defenses in the league. I think of the top 8, they're the number 1 in terms of goals against, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, the job that he's done there, it was certainly an honorable mention. But Pioli, Milan, no one predicted Milan to be where they are right now, and I think a lot of credit has to go to him.
Yep. Here's my substitutes bench. I wonder what yours is. It's Marco Silvestri as our backup goalkeeper from Hellas Verona.
Yep.
Davide Calabria of Milan as a backup fullback. Kalidou Koulibaly of Napoli.
Yep.
To back up the center backs. Hakan Çalhanoğlu was my choice for attacking midfield, just over Mkhitaryan.
Mm-hmm.
But I ultimately agreed with you on Mkhitaryan with the 8 goals and the 8 assists. Çalhanoğlu at his position has created a ton of chances. Certainly deserves a mention. Domenico Berardi of Sassuolo for the role that he's played and having they've dropped off here recently. But at the beginning of the season and how through the first 14 or 15 games, they were making a very aggressive push for a European place. They're going to have to regroup and get themselves back on track. But Domenico Berardi was a big part of that. Romelu Lukaku of Inter, how much they depend on him and what he means to them, the goals he scored. He's my pick for Capocannonieri. I think he may still pull this out here at the end, but
yeah.
And then my last striker was Luis Muriel of Atalanta. The guy is scoring a goal every 50 minutes. If you're talking about frequency, it's absolutely insane. And he doesn't start every game. And this is absolute madness. And he is just popping up and scoring goals like crazy.
Super sub.
So I've got Silvestri, Calabria, Koulibaly, Çalhanoğlu, Berardi, Lukaku, and Muriel. I've got no Lazio in my squad.
Some of the people that I agree with all those substitutes there. Some other ones that that came to my mind. Ciro Immobile, probably the purest striker in the league that we have. He's still putting up goals year in and year out.
Luis Alberto was very hard for me to leave out altogether.
Luis Alberto and Sergej Milinkovic-Savic, I think he's played very well as well.
Yeah.
I mean, this weekend he had a bullet of a header for his goal with Lazio in their 2-1 victory there. So those three Laziali there. Spinazzola, I really like the way he's been playing for Roma this year. Got another assist this weekend. He just continued to perform for Roma, not necessarily for the national team, but for Roma, he's doing really well for them. And I thought he's been a great addition for them. He's certainly an upgrade from Kolarov that they had in the past there. Some other names, Zaccagni, another player from Verona who I thought has been having a hell of a season. There's some other players that are playing outperforming him at the moment, but I think he's just coming out of the blue and he's stayed strong. He scored a goal this past weekend, scoring goals and assists every weekend. What a player. He's going to be something special. He's going to make a big money move here probably this summer, I would expect. And then the last two players I have that on my bench, Acerbi for Lazio. I think he's been a very good, strong defender. Year in, year out, no matter his age, he still gets it done. And then lastly, I'm going to give a shout out to Wesley Mckinney. He's having a hell of a season for Juventus, and it's really what they need in that midfield. Someone strong, a lot of grinta, getting the goals, getting the set piece plays, being there for the header. So he's a little bit of everything that Juventus need and haven't had in a long time in the midfield. Yes, any Juventini, they're going to give lots of praise to Wesley Mckinney. So,
I mean, all great shouts. I mean, there have been so many positive performances in Serie A, and when you have an open campionato like we have right now, you just dive into it and you see, how positive everybody's playing right now. And you even go look down in some of these other, I mean, we didn't even talk about Rodrigo De Paul and what he's meant to Udinese, what Mbala Nzola has meant to Spezia so far. As a couple of examples here. Looking at some of those teams that are sitting right now in the mid-table, Caprari for Benevento. Sampdoria, a couple of players really, making it. Antonio Candreva has certainly made an impact there.
Yeah.
Augello, another left back you want to talk about. Augello had some decent performances going in. Yeah. So, the Lazio guys, like I said, the hardest one for me to leave out altogether was Luis Alberto after singing his praises last week with Jerry, talking about him in the Rome derby. I look at Calhanoglu, I look at Berardi, I look at, if I really had to do it, I would take out Berardi for Luis Alberto, but it would be
on the bench.
I mean, we're talking about we're splitting hairs here.
Yeah.
So that's that's where we're going as far as all of this is concerned. But I feel good about the squad we've selected, and I think it would go out and kick the crap out of a lot of people, just on experience. So. And a nice little an attitude with some of the players that we got on that team too. So.
Absolutely.
So, Squadra Finora once again: Donnarumma, Hakimi, Kjaer, Bastoni, Di Marco, Kessi, Barella, Ilicic, Mkhitaryan, Ibrahimovic, and Cristiano Ronaldo. Have at us at Serie A Sitdown on Twitter or Instagram. Where do we get it wrong? And now, for the world's most famous hashtag game, it is now time for Who Won Calcio Twitter.
That's right. Starting us off, the first one I have comes from Don Totti. Supporters of other football teams think darkness is their ally, but y'all merely adopted the dark. Romanisti were born in it, molded by it. Nice.
So that's this was after was this shortly after the Derby loss? Yes. So
yes.
Zaniolo fan back on the board. He actually was our winner for Who Won Calcio Twitter tweet of the year at Nicola Di Giovanni. Is that the next one here?
No, that's a hockey one. So that doesn't qualify. It's a hockey one. It's a funny one, but it's not It's not Calcio related. So.
Okay.
The next one is the Juve Milan one.
Okay, so at Holzer_Marco, the Bernie Sanders sitting there with the old picture of how the ball was at least a yard over the line on the goal from Muntari against Juve that cost Milan the title and started Juve's run of it's Juve's no tuck rule, right?
That's right.
It's Juventus's tuck rule right here that you're seeing right before our eyes.
Oh man, Well, I guess George wanted to get in on the act as well, and joining me on the podcast apparently was Bernie Sanders at your house. Did you know that, Frank?
I had no idea that Bernie was at. Bernie is never welcome at my house, by the way. So
He's sitting in
that
your
has nothing to do with has nothing to do with how I lean politically. I'm not a Bernie Sanders guy, and he's not welcome at my house. He's the kind of guy that I'd have to if I shook his hand, I'd have to check my wrist to make sure my watch was still on. Okay. So it's not Calcio Twitter, but it should be considered at City. I sit down at William Topham 1. We have it appears to be
Klopp and the Burnley manager yelling at each other in the hallway.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. Let's see this one. Next one is
Sean Dyche is not a guy I would have any interest in picking a fight with.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Next one is so Europa League. They tweeted out, name a Europa League final goal you'll never forget. And Farinho _10 said Lukaku versus Inter.
That was delivered to us by our good friend Michael Lisi.
Yep.
Let's see. Giovanni at Gio Rossonero, he nominated at UK _AC Milan. Looks like having fans in the stadium really does affect the players, huh? And apparently these are characters from Fortnite. Is that what it was?
Sure.
Yeah. I believe that's what this was. So what's with the bear in the middle?
I don't know.
And you got the purple donkey in the back right-hand side, and it looks like you got an angry nutcracker over here.
And a pumpkin with a mustache.
A pumpkin with a mustache.
In the left-hand side.
Interesting.
Or a peach. I don't know what this is.
Funny thing is, those are the season ticket holders, aren't they?
I think so.
Okay.
Next one, Gianni also pointed us to this one. Hey, by the way, the Calcio guy is doing great of pointing us in some of these tweets that we missed. So
yeah,
kudos to them. So this one comes from Buffonissimo 2001. It's Sandro Tonali highlights versus Atalanta, and some guy in like a witch outfit chasing little kids around. The next Pirlo. That's pretty good.
That could be up there, guys.
Oh, that's good.
That could be up there. At Serie D _D nominating at XJ Zoo.
Handanovic.
It's Handanovic as Bernie Sanders
in goal, apparently doing nothing. Just sitting there.
Against Udinese. Yeah, he didn't do anything, did he?
No. That's funny. I missed that before. So let's see. So George saying Atalanta doing Atalanta things, not against Cagliari. And then laughing. Yeah, they just
the good color scene. Oh my.
Let's see. What is this one?
Bald in Bergamo. I see that lovely new bald head Zlatan challenge accepted.
Zlatan is bald.
I think that was superimposed because they had that.
Yeah, he's not bald by any stretch. This one comes from our friend Carlo Gargagnesi with a picture of Sadi flicking off. So it's exclusive. Frank Lampard to be sacked by Chelsea, and Sadi just laughing with his middle finger up.
Nice.
Let's see. What's
Martino Puccio joining? Yes. He said this. After the Ibrahimovic goal here in the Coppa, Milan's best player in the two derby matches this season has been Kolarov.
It's true. It has been true. It is true. So Farinho this time he played nominee, and he nominated the Prince of all Shosas at BUSHIZIE, and it says only Inter players that get paid for the refs. All right. And that's all I had. Yeah, I think that's it.
That's it. We got to pick a winner out of that, huh?
I think. Well, at least my pick is gonna be the Sandro Tonali.
Yeah, I'm with you.
That was a pretty good one.
I'm with you. Let's see here.
There's music to it too. You should. We're gonna tweet this out, but there's music to it too. It's pretty funny. But yeah,
I'll let you do it in a second. At Buffonissimo 2001.
Yeah.
And the fun part is it's a Buffon and a Parma kit as his avatar. That's pretty sweet.
All right.
So we got to give him credit for that too.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, that's awesome.
Letting him know right now. And then in just a minute, I'm going to go ahead and so Buffonissimo 2001. Congratulations. You have won. Who won Calcio Twitter for your take on Sandro Tonali's highlights?
You heard the music? Yeah, it's funny. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
This might be on the rack for the best of 2021.
Yeah.
We might have an early clubhouse leader.
We'll have to remember that. We'll have to tag these some way so we can come back and find them later, right?
The music is lovely. Yeah.
That's good.
So, all right. Well, great stuff as always. We've wrapped it all up, Richard. I think we can put a bow on this edition of Serie Sit Down.
Yeah.
Shameless plug time. I think we had a little mini video here earlier in the week.
Yeah. So we're gonna promote. We had a brief history on Parma. We posted a video on our YouTube page, so definitely check that out. It's a short video, so for those who have the short attention span like me, you'll enjoy it. But yeah, it goes through the ups and downs of Parma, so definitely check that out on our YouTube page. And then other than that, I'll be on the Faraway Fan Podcast here this weekend coming up to talk about a little bit of Calcio there. So I'm giving them a shout out. And then obviously the Calcio Connection, they were on our show last week. It covering for me, doing a marvelous job. So thank you to both those guys, Alex and Jerry there. So as always, you can follow me at R_KHARMAN at Twitter, Instagram, anywhere you want. So I'm there. So
at FTC_21, that's where you can find me. Serie Sit Down, we have our own channel on Apple Podcasts, on SoundCloud, we can be found on Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever there are podcasts, you can find Serie Sit Down. At Serie Sit Down on Twitter or Instagram for any comments, ideas, questions that you want us to cover on future shows. Also can find us on Facebook as well. So that is where all of the social media and all of the media vehicles are covered. So chat, thank you as always. Great talking with you guys, even though we had a little mini Milan Inter fight in the middle of that. I think
that's a derby. It's expected.
Steve was ready to brawl. So
he's got the Ibra blood in him.
Yeah, he does. Apollo Solutions had a question. Views on Maite. We talked about it earlier. He needs time. And Milan need to figure out what his best fit is. It's really what it comes down to. The talent is there. It's just got to.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
How do they make it work? So is our opinion. So Squadra Finora, Crap on a Cracker 11. We did it all. Who won Calcio Twitter? Wrapped up match week 19. Second half of the season coming up. Games are going to come thick and fast. European football is going to be coming back. Our Serie A teams are going to be back in that. And all of it's in front of us and a whole lot to look forward to. So, but we'll be back with you around this time next week. For Richard, I'm Frank. As always, make sure you tell your paisans about us. Ciao.